Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at multiplying with decimals. So let's start at the very top of our page. I know I can multiply decimals. I know how to multiply decimals. So the first thing they did was they started with an addition problem. So what they wanted you to do was see that you're going to have to line up all of your decimals to be able to add them. So they took 3 78/100 and they added to that the 59 thousandths. Now I'm going to put a 0 here just to hold place. 0 plus 9 is 9. 8 plus 5 is 13. I'm going to carry my 1 and circle it. 7 plus 1 is 8. I put my decimal in, and 3 plus 0 is 3. So I ended up with 3 839 thousandths. We are correct. We did do that one correctly. Make sure if you're adding decimals that you always line them up. Multiplication is a little bit different. You have to count how many decimal points are behind whenever you're getting ready to multiply so that you'll know how many to put in. Okay, it says we're going to multiply the decimals as if they are whole numbers. So you pretend like there's no decimal point there. You just multiply as you normally would, which is different than adding. You have to line them up for that. Count the number of decimal digits to the right of the decimal point. That's our second step. Then you're going to insert a decimal point in the product, that's your answer, so that there are the same number of decimal digits in the product as in the number of them in the factors. Okay, so let's look at this very first one that they have for us. They've given us a problem and then they've answered it. Well, we want to make sure that we understand how they got their answer. So we're going to multiply 6 5/10 times 3 1/10. I put my decimal points in just so I can count them. There are 2 digits behind the decimal point, so that means that I'm going to have 2 numbers behind the decimal in my answer or my product. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. I'm going to mark through that 1 and add my 0 in. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry my 1 and circle it. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Okay, now I'm just going to add. That's 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry my 1 and circle it. 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry my 1 and circle it. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Now remember, I have 2 digits that are behind that decimal point, so I need 2 digits behind it in my product. Okay, so 20 15/100, and we are correct. That looks great. Next, we're going to be looking at another multiplication problem where we're going to have to count the digits to make sure that we get the right amount in our answer, our product. I can see 3, so that means I've got to have 3 in my answer. So I'm going to multiply 2 91/100 times 4 2/10. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. I'm going to carry my 1 and circle it. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. I'm going to mark through those and put my 0 in. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. I'm going to add. So that gives me 2. 8 plus 4 is 12. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then I drop my 1. I need 3, remember, because I have 3 that are behind the decimal point. 12 222 thousandths, and we are correct. On the last one, they're just asking you to find the product, and basically that those two are pretty simple because you're just moving the decimal point based on how many zeros are there. You're multiplying by 10, so that means you're going to move the decimal point one place to the right and you end up with 87. On the next one, I have 3 and 8 tenths. So that's pretty simple because I've got this 10, but it shows me it's to the third. So I'm going to have 3 spaces to move to the right. So that means I've got 1 here after my 8, and then I have to add a 0, and then I have to add another 0. So I end up with 3,800 as my answer. Now at the bottom, they just said that they wanted to do kind of a little lesson summary. Basically, when you multiply decimals like they're whole numbers, that's what you're always going to do. You just multiply them like they're whole numbers, pretend like they do not have the decimal point. But then you're going to count your decimal digits, and you're going to find or determine the position of the decimal point in the product. So however many digits you have behind the decimal point is what you're going to have to do when you get your answer. Okay, guys, hopefully that will help you when you're multiplying with decimals. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Bye.